Hello and welcome to Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. On today's show, we'll learn all about this month's Sunflower Festival at the beautiful Alstead Farms in Chester. But first, Laura Allen, the curator of Native American art, and Ira Wagner, the director of the Montclair Art Museum, are here to share just a piece of the wonderfully unique exhibitions that the Montclair Art Museum contains. Welcome to the show, Ira and Laura.
Thank you
Thanks,
so
Lisa.
much. Thanks for
So,
inviting us.
oh, of course. Ira, I'm going to start with you. Tell us all
Okay.
about the beauty and wonder of the Montclair Art Museum.
Sure. Well, it's a wonderful institution. We're more than 100 years old. We were founded in 1914 here in Montclair. And we have a large collection of American and Native American art, over 12,000 objects, everything from historical pieces to contemporary art. We're an active center of our community. We have a very active exhibition schedule, which I'm happy to share with you, and as well as a whole range of activities, events for families, for people of all ages. So it's a great institution to come and visit.
It definitely is, and it definitely competes with those guys across the river, that's for sure. And we'll touch on that in a little bit, but talk
Great.
about the exhibitions you have happening this summer.
So this summer, we have on view a new installation of our collection of landscape paintings by George Inness. It's the largest collection of Inness paintings in the world, and it's a very beautiful exhibition. It's hung in what's called salon style, which means the pictures are stacked one above the other, as it might have been seen at the time that the paintings were made. We also have on view a show of work from our permanent collection called Transformed, which is about how artists work to transform objects in the creations that they make. And then also a wonderful exhibition of contemporary photography by Merrill McMaster, who is a Native American artist. And Laura perhaps can tell more about that. And then in September, we're also opening a large exhibition called Taking Space, which is of American women artists making very large scale works. Some of the show is borrowed from another institution, but about half of it will be major works from our collection as well. So it's a whole range of things that we have on view, and we always have something new and worth coming back for a visit.
You most certainly do. So, Laura, talk about what your part of the museum is featuring in Native American art.
As Ira started with, we currently have ongoing an exhibition by the artist Merrill McMaster. She is an Indigenous artist from Canada. Her father's side of the family hails from Red Pheasant Cree Nation in Saskatchewan, and her mother's side of the family is British and Dutch. And she is a photographer as well as an emerging filmmaker, too. She's got new work in this exhibition of film, which is incredible. Her works are very powerful. She actually photographs herself, often as a persona, or she's exploring her own personal identity in her images, in which she creates custom ensembles and props, and the images are often very site-specific and engaging with the history of place and family in these places. So this exhibition really powerfully shows her exploration of her family history on her dad's side, as well as how she, I would say, disrupts time through her work. She really brings together the past, present, and future.
How did you come across this artist?
I've been paying attention to Merrill McMaster for quite a while, and so has Ira. So we actually came together in agreeing that this was a great opportunity to work with her for a solo show. And it turns out she had a new series of work that we were able to release, or at least be the first institution in the United States to share this incredible new series. And it's part of a greater emphasis on Indigenous photography that we've been making at MAM. We've been purchasing more work by Indigenous photographers to expand this important aspect of the collection.
Talk about the work that goes on behind the scenes when building out an exhibition, because I'm sure it's not an overnight success story, right? I'm sure it's many months, maybe even years of curating and reaching out to artists and just putting the puzzle pieces together.
Laura is firsthand part of that, but I can tell you that our curators, there's a good sized team of curators, and it does take a lot of time, as you said. They have to select the works, think about getting them here if they're not in our collection, the layout of the work, how works essentially refer to each other, and putting one work next to each other may add to or change the interpretation of both works. There's all the preparation, framing, installation, etc. So many of the exhibitions take several years, and we're also working on what will be on view at this point in 2025 and 2026. So it is a long process, and we plan long in advance.
Laura, what is your background before coming to Montclair Art Museum?
I've been at Montclair Art Museum for 2 years. I was previously a curatorial associate at the American Museum of Natural History. I worked on the reinstallation of the Northwest Coast Hall there, which recently went on view in summer of last year. That was a huge project. And I'm delighted to be at Montclair Art Museum because of the feeling at the institution, the work we do with the community, as well as the fact that MAM has had a Indigenous art collection since inception. So the institution was collecting the work of contemporary Native artists even back in 1914. So it represents a exciting opportunity to reinterpret historical work and continue to support, as we've been doing through purchasing and exhibiting contemporary work since that time.
Ira, in addition to being director of the Montclair Art Museum, you also contribute in your own way. You're a photographer. So tell us about your artistic side.
I had worked on Wall Street for 27 years, and I left in 2008. And I began to study photography. I always loved photography, but I took some classes, and eventually I went back and got a master's degree in 2013. And I will tell you that getting a MFA degree is a lot harder than getting an MBA degree. So the arts are not easy, but my interest is actually in primarily in the urban landscape. And when for my master's thesis, I went back and photographed the Bronx for about 2 years. I was born in the Bronx, and my family had connections there, so I was curious what it looked like today. And I went everywhere in the Bronx. I photographed then a project of looking at houses on the New Jersey shore being raised up after Hurricane Sandy. That got published in the National Geographic, which is something I never thought would happen. But that was very exciting, and it certainly helped me to, in particular, follow photography. And as Laura said, I had become aware of Meryl McMaster, and so was she, and we were excited to be able to put that together and get that exhibition on view. Separately, we have started, and I think the audience really is responding to this, a dedicated gallery that will show photography. The Meryl McMaster show is the second one. In late fall, we'll have a show by a great photographer, Joel Meyerowitz, and we're continuing to work on having rotating photography shows in the museum. And I think that will be part of what we do for the next few years at least.
You are in one of the best communities, in my opinion, to have a museum like this in Montclair. Talk about how the community rallies and supports everything that you do.
Well, yeah, we really have made a point to reach out and partner to the community. I don't think, in general, museums have always been, completely open to everybody that lives in the community they're located in. We're really trying to work on that, and we formed a range of partnerships with local groups, including AAPI Montclair. We have the African American Cultural Committee that is part of the museum that we work with, Out Montclair, Latinos of Montclair. So we've had a lot of events on our grounds celebrating holidays of these people, celebrating culture, celebrating Juneteenth, for example. And it brings a lot of new people to the museum. And I think it sends the message that we are here for everybody, and there's really something that everybody can participate in. So the community has been a great partner for us, and we look forward to expanding that.
Laura, how does the Montclair Art Museum, I alluded to this before, compare to the guys across the river, and in terms of culture, in terms of everything?
I really appreciate being at a smaller institution that you can do more, you can enact your ideas more quickly, and Ira and the entire board and the community of the museum and the neighborhood is very supportive of that. Indigenous art has been, as I mentioned, so vital at the institution from inception, and our community relationships are just getting broader and broader as we work collaboratively with community members from Indigenous nations, both local to New Jersey and beyond, to bring their perspectives to the galleries and to our collections and broader projects. So I think, yes, the bigger museums can do that too, but being at a smaller institution with a world-class collection and wonderful values is a real opportunity for everyone. Montclair Art Museum hadn't really crossed my radar enough. I live in Brooklyn, and that's where I'm here right now, and I love coming to New Jersey, and I'm really I'm very into it. And I think when I first was looking at the museum a bit more closely, when I was going for my interviews, I was incredibly impressed by the quality of the exhibitions, the scale of the collection, and the really noticeable work that the team has put into creating a really special place that rivals any institution this way.
They call Montclair Brooklyn West.
Yes.
So you might have to just move out here, just
I
saying.
know. It's a hard step, believe me. But I feel very invested, and I hope to be at the museum for a long time.
Well, we hope so too, because it is such a mecca of art here in the Garden State. Ira, where can people find out more about the museum?
Sure, on our website, montclairartmuseum.org, there's information on everything going on at the museum. Our social media is active, either Facebook or Instagram. And for people who may not know about this, there's a wonderful app available on your phone that actually has information about many, many museums in the country and some even overseas, called Bloomberg Connects. And we're on that as well. And you can see what's going on there. And you can also access some audio material while you're in the galleries to enhance your visit. So lots of ways. And of course, if you're interested, we send out weekly emails about all that's going on, and you can also get on our mailing list. And we certainly would welcome people joining the museum as members, and they then get free admission, discounts on a whole range of things, including restaurants in town, and you will certainly be up to date on what's happening here.
That's great. I mean, you could really make a nice day out of the museum, the restaurants, and everything else that goes on in bustling downtown Montclair. Ira, Laura, thank you so much for coming on here today.
Thank you for spending time with us, and I hope to see your viewers here soon.
Yes, thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Alstead Farms in Chester has a sunflower festival happening throughout the month of August that will surely brighten your day. Here to tell us more about the local farm and their attractions is the Director of Marketing, Kyle Holman. Kyle, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Thanks for having me.
So I think the Sunflower Festival that you have is one of the most Instagrammable outdoor events in the Garden State, especially around the summer. Tell us all about it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, we grow, I would say, a handful of consecutive plantings of sunflowers on our farm throughout the year. So our sunflowers usually start coming in bloom in July, and we'll have sunflowers through the fall and into October. Just the place of where they are growing, tends to change, throughout the year. But usually if you do come out to our farm from July through October, you'll have the opportunity to see a field of sunflowers.
How do you maintain the farm? And I guess it's maybe an all year round process.
Mm-hmm. That's certainly yes. We have our own production team that outside of growing, 250 different types of produce on our farm, sunflowers and some other cut flowers like zinnias, they grow as well.
I know Alstead Farms uses sustainable and USDA certified organic production methods. Tell us what this means.
It's just a way of, how we go about growing our produce. Part of our farm is USDA certified organic, and we're also a sustainable farm. Sustainability pulls the environment, into play. We look for ways to, be good stewards, of this land, while growing healthy produce.
And what is that produce that you're growing throughout the year?
Tomatoes, peppers, sweet corn, but yeah, as far as peaches, I don't know if too many people know, but there are times where the state of New Jersey grows more peaches than the state of Georgia. So, we have a good amount of peaches that are grown in the state.
I did not know that. See, you learn something new every day. How has the weird climate affected your crop over the past few years? Because I know it's just been like a topsy-turvy time in agriculture.
Yeah. No effect, at this time. As farmers, you always have to take the weather, into consideration, and it's something that you're not going to be able to control. So what we do here is we have certain contingency plans on certain different types of weather, and if we have to use those contingency plans, then we have to use those contingency plans. If you want to talk about last year where we didn't have maybe lower amount of rain at some point, but everything was growing great here. Those types of years when we're seeing a lower part of, or lower moisture or lower rain, produce like tomatoes, sweet corn actually have better flavor because they're not necessarily waterlogged from the rain.
So interesting. What about the frost, though? I mean, we didn't have much of a winter. So how does that affect what grows in the summer?
The interesting piece of that while we didn't have that much snow per se over the winter, or it wasn't necessarily that cold, we did get a lot of precipitation. So there was precipitation, just wasn't in the form of snow. So, there was, as I said, a fair amount of precipitation in the wintertime. And right now everything is on track, to grow, the way everything usually does.
Tell us more about your attractions, including the Sunflower Festival happening right now.
Yeah, so Pick Your Own is open every day, really from the end of May with strawberries through November, when we're picking apples through November. So as I said, every day we have something here that's available to pick. Sunflowers is a very interesting piece to that component as well. In the fall, we'll have our corn maze, which will be open as well as other fall activities. But in the month of August, Pick Your Own Peaches is probably one of the more popular things to do. So, individuals and guests can come out and, pick different types of peaches that we grow here on the farm.
Do you have a favorite?
I would say blueberries, is probably one of my favorite, types of produce here. They're just a little different than what you get in the store. Picking blueberries right off the plant, they have just a different taste to them. And some other people will say strawberries too. Strawberries are certainly high on my list as well. When you cut open one of our strawberries here from the farm, it is, red all the way through.
I feel that way with apples. I cannot eat store-bought apples because they make my throat itch for whatever reason, I
Sure.
guess whatever they spray. But if I'm going apple picking and picking it right from a tree, I could eat apples all day long.
It's one of I guess, the benefits of, being, close to farms and, being able to, pick up or pick your own different types of fruit.
Do you have any activities for kids to learn about produce and agriculture?
Currently, not necessarily. I mean, when you come out to the farm, we have different types of opportunities to learn as far as different things to read and such like that. But currently, nothing as far as I would say, classrooms or classes on that nature.
There's just such a difference picking something
Yeah.
fresh from a farm versus even buying organic in a grocery store. Do you find that as people over the past couple of years really have gotten hip to what the difference is, that you've attracted more of a crowd?
Yeah, I would say if you're not familiar with one of our programs, our CSA program, our CSA program is a box of fresh produce from our farm that members get weekly, from our farm. They can either pick that up from the farm, or we have different locations, throughout the state of New Jersey that people can pick that up. At one point, our membership was, declining, prior to COVID and prior to the shutdown. But since then, it seems to have picked back up, and we have increased our numbers. And I think at this point, we probably have one of the largest CSA memberships in the state. And I would say some of that piece has to do with, an interest again in where, your fruit is coming from.
Where are the other locations throughout New Jersey that this is available?
I would say I'm trying to think of how many we have. About 30 to 40 different pickup locations. Anywhere from central to northern New Jersey, even a pickup location in Staten Island. Would definitely go to our website and take a look at the different types of locations that you could pick that up from.
Kyle, before we wrap here, I want to learn more about you and your passion for the farm. How did you get involved?
So I started here literally just about a month prior to COVID. My background is actually in business and sports related. I spent my first 10 years in business, working in sports and various professional sports teams here in this area. I ended up coming to the farm here, as I said, just prior to COVID, and really kind of at that point was just keeping the business going, during a very tumultuous time. Since then, we're kind of back to everything, being normal, but that opportunity to continue, kind of working in an event related, type of business, like Allstead Farms in the way that we are in agritourism, was very appealing. I don't really have too much of a farm background. As I said, my background is more business and marketing. But in these 3 years here, I've learned a lot, and I've always had an interest being outside and certainly knowing where my food came from. So having the opportunity to work here seemed, kind of like a no-brainer at that time.
It's got to be a little more slow paced, right?
You would think, but it really isn't. Not the way that we go about doing things here. And that's actually one of the positives I think about working here. There is never really a dull moment, and how we talked about weather. Prior, there's different things like that will just come up out of the blue, and you're gonna have to figure out how to keep moving forward.
Well, enjoy the rest of the summer season. We'll see you for that apple picking adventure that we all love to do in the fall. Where can people find out more about you and the farm?
I would say to go to our website, allsteadfarms.com. purchase tickets for Pick Your Own and everything else, CSA membership, all of that is located on our website.
Great. Kyle, thank you so much. This was very fun and informative. And New Jersey, the peach state. Who knew?
Great. Well, thanks for having me, and hopefully we'll see everybody out here in the summer and the fall.
Thank you for watching another episode of Your New Jersey. I'm Lisa Marie Falbo. We'll see you back here next week.